What's up, everybody? This is Khary with Captive Creative and Captive Studios. I am here with Jada Scott. She is our creative producer here at Captive Creative. And as I told you on one of the last streams, we are really looking to introduce our team. I have a lot of pride and admiration for the people that I work with. And I really want everybody to be able to see the way I see our team. So today, we really just want to get to know Jada a lot more. I know Jada as one of the most creative, most articulate human beings on this planet Earth,
Oh my God, thank you.
and I'm glad to have her on the team right now. Yeah, Jada, how about you introduce yourself to everybody?
Well, hi, my name is Jada Scott, as Kari said in this wonderful, very thorough thorough intro. I am the creative producer and assistant director here at Captive Creative. And yeah, hi, welcome.
Welcome, welcome. Yeah, so this is definitely something new to us. Really, what we want to do is start getting a lot of us on camera and just making content, showing you some behind the scenes of how we really bring stuff to life. So, with Jada today, I really wanted to start off by asking, tell us more about yourself. Who is Jada Scott outside of production? You know, maybe we even start off with some of the early years, high school, college, before Captive Creative.
Yeah, um, that's such a loaded
It
question.
is a loaded. I always like to load up these questions because I'm always interested to see where people start.
Yeah.
So, and you also say I never asked enough about you.
That's true. This is one way. Literally, Kari has known me almost over a year at this point. And anytime that I speak, he's like, I've never heard that before. And I'm like, you've never asked me any questions. This is the very long version of him actually being able to get to know me. So
Yeah, in
that's
front of
totally
everybody
fine.
too. So this should be really
Let's do it
interesting
live.
for the whole world to see.
Yeah. But to answer your question, I am a creative. I'm a storyteller at heart. I am somebody who has grown up loving movies, TV, anything and all thing theater. I acted back in the day. I've directed back in the day. Was a competitive public speaker in high school. Shout out to Shepherd, six in the state of Illinois. So you're welcome.
I see
Um,
you showed off that ring too.
oh yeah,
Bling
she's a
bling.
fiance too. Um, I'm a fiance. I'm a bonus mom. I am
It's actually the first time I heard that term.
bonus mom.
Yeah.
What have you? Oh my God, what have you heard besides that?
I actually never heard it. Define that for me.
A bonus mom?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not necessarily a stepmom because we're not married yet,
Mm-hmm.
but there are two lovely little girls in my life that I get to be a mother figure for, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, see, I learned so much even with the 5 minutes the stream started. I've already learned a lot. Yeah. Well, tell us more, Jada. Tell us what kind. You said you've acted in the past, you directed in the past. Tell us more what that looked like, and did you learn anything that really got you to where you are now? How did that look? What did you do?
Yeah, of course. So a lot of my acting back in the day, that's like stage acting. So it's the bigger the better, being able to, really project and being able to, tell stories from so many different perspectives, stepping into, a new world and being able to make something out of nothing. Directing, same sort of thing, a lot of stage directing, maybe some like outside, some of my own social projects, being able to put an eye to. But I would say a lot of those things that I learned very early on were being able to have an idea literally in a blank space and then being able to see a world from that and seeing a world and being able to project that to an audience. And that transfers well into what we do here at Captive. Being able to have a concept, whether, we're coming up with it, whether a client does, and being able to see specifically that, okay, I know where you want to be. So let's carve a path to get there. And I would say that that's another skill that I was able to take even before I was at Captive and I was in A&R. So I was working with a lot of different music artists in Houston, helping them figure out who they wanted to be, who their brands were. Basically, taking someone at the very beginning of their career who they're raw talent. They know exactly what they want. They are learning their voice, but they also know that they want to be as big as Beyonce. Okay, so how do we get there?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that look like? What does that version of you look like? And let's work our steps backwards.
Yeah. What got you into that?
Um, my love for the entertainment industry in general.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It always goes back to my love for entertainment, my love for telling stories.
Yeah.
Whether
How
it's
did you get into that space though? Like, I know you just didn't wake up and you're like, I'm an A&R now.
yeah,
Like, did you go seek it? Did you how what places did you put yourself in?
yeah.
And like what questions did you ask? Who did you run into? What did you do? I'm interested.
Yeah, I would say it specifically started by, going out, literally just being on the scene, being able to go to where the artists are,
Mm-hmm.
being able to say, "Oh, I love whatever is happening here. Let's talk about it."
Yeah.
And one relationship led to another where we were putting on certain events together. And next thing you know, you're meeting other artists and being introduced, and you're doing it before you even know it. And by the time I was working with my third creative, I apparently had already been spoken up in a different room. And I
Yeah.
was able to introduce myself to my previous mentor. He was telling me, "Oh, this is literally what you're doing.
Yeah.
So let's teach you how to do it like
Do it the
in
right
this
way.
way." Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and so
I
the
do want
path
to
found
check
me.
how's her audio? Is everything sounding good? Awesome. Am I sounding good? Most importantly, I'm just kidding. Cool. I just wanted to check
Yeah.
the audio. So you met a mentor,
Hmm.
saw you were doing what you were doing.
Hmm.
Um, I always like to say that there's always a process to a lot of the things that we do. Maybe you were doing it one way and found like, oh, there's actually a process for what I was
Yeah.
doing. Was there a lot you learned as far as taking something that you have a natural knack to do and then turning it into like a process for it?
Oh my God, yeah, that's like my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in that scenario in particular, yes, I had to realize that you can have these conversations, but it's so much about the relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much about you having to do like the on the ground work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's coming up with the mood boards. That's coming up with the locations that they need to travel in. If we're going on tour, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
If they are going to be booked for a show, okay, how are you going to get them in the
So
room?
y'all just
They
don't
need studio time.
hop in a van and just start, oh yeah, we're gonna hit up this venue, and then the day before we get to this other venue, we're gonna call in and say like, can I play there? It doesn't work like that.
I mean, if only that has not been my experience.
Yeah.
But yes, the same amount of, if not the same amount, but there's a lot of planning that goes into keeping somebody on track to get to where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 24-hour job. There's always going to be something. You are dealing with people who are passionate about themselves and their creativity in general,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to be just as passionate about that. Like you have to be able to believe in this person before the world even can see them.
Yeah,
So
that's pretty cool. Pretty cool that you have that vision, and I can even see it when we're working on projects within Captive. Already having a vision for what something could be,
yeah,
and the potential it has to tell the story around, what they do, who they are, and yeah, show the world.
yeah,
So, any crazy stories being in that space that you wouldn't mind sharing?
be crazy stories.
Yeah, what's the craziest or like, oh my gosh, how did I get myself in this position?
Mm. Any crazy stories in particular? It's funny enough that you bring up a whole just everyone hopping in a van and then going. Yeah, literally, it was a couple years ago. We had a tour and we're supposed to be in this. How do you even describe it? There was a show that was supposed to be in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
So we get on this tour bus and we're driving from Texas to New Jersey, going from our warm weather here to be freezing my excuse my language, freezing my tail off
Mm-hmm.
on a tour bus going through the mountains.
They didn't have heat on the tour bus.
Not enough where I was comfortable.
I hear you. I know you don't like the cold.
I
We've
do
seen that the
not like the cold.
last couple weeks. She came in with a full mink coat.
I told you if I was going to come, I was going to come cozy,
Yeah,
very much so. I do not sacrifice style for warmth. We
yes,
combine them together.
definitely was combined.
But yeah, no, it was a 24-hour turnaround trip. Literally no sleep. We get there literally 5 minutes before the show was supposed to start. I have all of these creatives lined up, making sure that everyone's still having a good time. By the time it's ended, we're right on our way back to Texas.
Hmm.
It was the scariest, funnest thing, but
Yeah.
that's what probably as
Did y'all
crazy as it'll
stop
get.
were anywhere to sleep, or was it just a straight shot?
No, you slept on the bus.
I mean, that's what you
It's
got
tour
that's
life.
yeah, that's what you got a tour bus for.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. And then what did the transition, and I've heard this story before,
Mhm.
but I want everybody else to hear. What was the transition from that, music industry, A&R life to video film production?
Yeah.
What made you do that? And what clicked in your mind that like, I want to make this my next move.
Yeah. I would say specifically knowing that I didn't want to keep growing in a space that I did not have my full 100% passion in.
Mhm.
When you stumble onto certain paths and you go with it because it's working, it doesn't necessarily mean it's just the one for you. And when I realized that if I put off my dreams of being, working in TV, working in film, working in production for the chance that I may work with an artist and like that may be something that you can put together, that's me putting myself on the back burner. And that's me saying, okay, I'll wait to build someone else's dream, build someone else's reality before I'll even take the leap of faith and step into mine.
Mhm.
And I had a really serious life event that was the catalyst to that. Um, that did inspire me to rip the band-aid and go forward and start reaching out specifically. Um, and that became my why.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah, if you had to define your why in one succinct message, what would it be?
I would define my why as I want to make sure that I'm always becoming the version of myself that my future children will be proud of. I want them to know that their mom is happy, that
Mhm.
she's doing what she loves, that she's building a life for them and fully living in that.
Yeah, I love that. I have something similar to that, um, but it's not about me. It's about you.
Go ahead, you can share.
I mean, really, for me, it's I want my future self. I love my kids. I have two kids, but yeah, I want to look at back and say, Khary, you did what you needed to do for for my future self to look back and say, yes, I'm proud of the man. Or really, I want my current self to look at my future self and say, I'm proud of that man that he became.
I love that.
So, but yeah, um, just to keep on going down that path and making that transition into this creative space that we're currently
hmm
in. What was your move when when it hit you, when it dawned on you, and you figured out what your why was? What was the next step?
I would say my next step was to put myself in the right room. At first, I wanted to kind of take the not so, I guess, familiar path, um, and then circle back to it at some point. But my fiance actually was the one that pushed me
Mm-hmm.
when he literally said, "If this is something that you want to do, if you want to be in these spaces, go knock on the door,
Mm-hmm.
like proverbial door."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he definitely inspired me to seek out internships and starting where I was. So at the time, I was still an HR director at a marketing firm,
Mm-hmm.
and I was still working as an A&R on the side. Um, and it was still in these spaces, but then knowing that, well, one, I'm an adult and you can't just drop whatever you're doing
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and say, I'm going to have a completely different experience at this point. But it's realizing that, okay, if I can take bite-sized chunks into the right direction that I want, what does that look like?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that looked like going to a few different creative agencies directly in Houston. That doesn't mean that you need to go to New York and LA if you don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
It was starting where I was and just sending out an email, setting up a conversation, having a call with somebody that's actually in those spaces, and just asking for the opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between, excuse me, there's a difference between asking for a job when are still learning this space versus asking to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And when you ask to learn, you're asking for air. Um, it's advice, information, or a recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what I
I
did.
like that acronym.
hmm
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I did. I reached out to you.
She did. She did. I was like, man, who is this? Let me see what they want.
Literally
Let me
that.
see what they want. But yeah, no, I mean, and like I always say that um, I personally am always looking for to make a connection, always recruiting, always. I never just ignore people that reach out because in the industry that we're in, you get a lot of people reaching out, want to be a part of the agency, the company to learn. And here at Captive, we want to absolutely give people that experience. And you'll run across people like Jada, and it's always a mutual, great experience. It's a great mutual experience when that happens. And I'm glad you did reach out.
Me too.
So you reached out.
Yeah.
All right, day one, you come in. What's your thoughts?
Oh my God, I'm in like Wonderland. This is amazing. Um, no, I thought that the team was so welcoming. I thought
Mm-hmm.
that everybody was really just a powerhouse in their own field. I thought that the team that we had at the time fantastic. Being able to learn from you specifically, being able to learn from Zach, being able to learn from Justin, being able to learn from Stuart, being able to, step into the studio space and then watching, all of these concepts come out in real life and being able to just be in this environment where, we're seeing the creativity come true. And then everybody's so willing to like lend a helping hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel as though that was the thing that just kept me coming back. My internship lasted a very long time. No shade, but like a
Got to
little
put her
bit.
through the ringer.
Um, but yeah, no, just being consistent with that schedule and just asking and just learning. I started off trying to learn the creative strategic partnerships and like how we're actually placing brands with the creative and how we can, really bolster that space. But then also realizing that, okay, I can come up with the creative concept, but I want to see this, but Justin has the eye to be able to see what you have on paper and then bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the first questions I asked him, I was like, "Oh my God, can you teach me that? How did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you know exactly what camera that we need? How do you know exactly what angle that we need for this, the lighting?
Mm-hmm.
What's feasible and what isn't just based on an idea?" Um, and I've always written, I've always, like I said, had these ideas about what I want to see, but being able to ask a mentor specifically, hey, can you teach me how you see this page?
Mm-hmm.
And then actually being able to be on set and doing that, that's invaluable.
Yeah, absolutely. What have been some of the challenges that you face, going through that process, or maybe what was a little bit harder than you thought it would be?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I would say this is a sink or swim kind of position, specifically from that, because when you are somebody like me that didn't have a formal film training,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to education in that way, being able to learn as you go would definitely be one of the main challenges. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. When you're the kind of person that can always figure anything out, um, try it first and then be corrected later.
Yeah. Well, was there anything specific that, sink or swim? Was there anything like, oh, I'm gonna swim, and then it's like, oh, I got some weights on me now. It's a little harder than I thought.
Um, no.
Okay. It's all easy breezy. So, well, I hear you. I
It's
hear
only
you.
as hard as you make it. At the end of the day,
That's
everything is a challenge. Waking up sometimes is a challenge, but what are you going to do? Are you going to accept the challenge of the day and figure it out, or are you going to sit and stew in
There you go. That's a clip for y'all. Clip that.
it?
uh, for real though, that's a great answer. Definitely the kind of energy that we love here at Captive, and I think you got the right mindset. I guess to even dive into that more, because we're speaking about mindset.
Mhm.
What is the mindset that you have to almost make it in this space?
You would have to have the mindset of we adjust, we pivot, stuff happens, and never a dull day. All my quotables that I use on a daily basis to kind of get back grounded. The thing is, when you're in this industry and you are in this space of like being able to not necessarily be the middleman, but you are juggling so many different plates. You're wearing so many different hats. I can have as many as 10 to 15 projects open at the same time in all different stages. And whether it's across pre production, post production, or let's say we're actually literally on a production right now out of state. But being able to stay calm and then realizing that there's an answer for everything. We always work together, so you can always collaborate, but it's about staying flexible.
Yeah, nice. So with that being said, uh, uh, the industry, do you think about where the industry's going, your role, and where you want to be in maybe 2 years or so?
Yeah.
Maybe even not even 2 years. I'm not even gonna put a timeline. Just where you might be headed towards the future.
Yeah, I would say even starting with Captive specifically, we have a new an improved vision that has been implemented throughout our full process and how we are thinking about the projects that we are bringing in, the projects that we are creating. And I definitely see myself as the executive producer of one of our reality shows, one of our selling to Bravo.
Okay, reality show
Feature
coming soon.
films, very much so. Feature films, short films, TV series, all things that are right up my alley, specifically that I know for a fact that we are expanding into, and I definitely see myself doing that.
Yeah. Well, I know one thing when you came in, and still what you pitch all the time,
Hmm.
it's really connecting brands with the right storytelling.
Yeah.
Could you elaborate more on what that looks like and why are you so passionate about that?
Yeah, I would say that even as we look forward, there's a lot of different articles. Don't quote me right now, but the way that the industry is trending, especially in the fashion world, all of these wonderful houses are stepping into this space where, they are doing their own world building.
Mm-hmm.
I am personally passionate about it because no matter whether it's an influencer, whether it's a, luxury brand, whether it's any kind of brand, at the end of the day, they all have their own voices, messages, and missions. And once they have that, they have their own world. So I would love to be able to put a visual to that and see what that looks like.
Yeah. Could you that's a clippable too. I'm gonna call it out loud. Could you explain what world building is to us? I know
Mhm.
you like to use that word or phrase,
Yeah.
but what does that mean?
So to me, world building means that if I think about, let's say, let's say, oh, brain fart. Oh my God, I have like the brain at the tip of my tongue. Um,
Is there anybody in the comments or anybody live on?
We got three watching. I think it's me, Hamza, and
Yay.
And myself, I'm on it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm sure somebody's out there. Thank you, Mama.
So let's say that I'm specifically speaking of the brand Schiaparelli. So if you don't know Schiaparelli, they are a high haute couture fashion house. So when I think about Schiaparelli, I think about the words that I would use to describe them: eclectic, otherworldly, um, gold,
Hmm.
really just those three words in particular. Okay, well, when you have those three words, okay, what does it actually look like? What does that mean? What does the day to day look like? What is the environment? What do the people that live in this world look like? What is the grass? What color is the sky? Is it pink?
Hmm.
Because literally it's surreal in
Hmm.
that way. But that's just one way to look at it. I just want to see if I were to, let's say, step into a virtual reality world of this specific brand, what would I see?
Hmm.
And how would they interact with each other?
Yeah.
What stories would they tell?
Yeah.
Give us a bird's eye view into what that looks like. And I believe that every brand, across any industry has that same capability. And the way that I view our lens, even with certain episodic approaches, it's, take Capital One, for example. We specifically had a concept for the dealership. We wanted to do something for
Don't steal this, by the way. Should we tell them? Should we give our secret sauce? I don't care. If it gets made, it gets made.
But it was an idea that I mean, hey, there's timestamps. We already sent it over, so
Hmm.
we'll know.
This is the proof right here.
But we were doing a concept for their auto navigator auto finance program.
Hmm.
So we did the research, was able to kind of figure out how we wanted to make auto finance entertaining.
Hmm.
What better way to do that to a comedy scene? So let's say that we were set in a dealership space where, you have a lot of zany characters, you have people that are on the sales floor, on the mechanic floor, and being able to interact with all of the different kinds of customers that you would see being able to walk in, because that's a target audience. Those are the people that they're actually trying to sell this to. So why not personalize them and give them a place in this reality? Um, and yeah, that was the world building that came a little snippet of Capital One's Auto Navigator.
Yeah, I really like how specific you are with, how you describe these worlds. Because I mean, yeah, if you live in a world, if you're the creator of a world, the god of this world, you have to think about the color of the leaf and the how things interact with each other. So I love the fact that you use that phrase, world builder.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
You got to be detailed.
Gotta be detailed. So you've already mentioned, what you're going for and what you want in your future.
Hmm.
For someone that maybe that is in your position, or what for somebody that was no, 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 hold on. For somebody that currently is in the position that you were, what advice would you give them to get to maybe where you are and where you want to be?
I would tell that person, and honestly, the best way I do this, it's similar to what you said before about the younger version of you, or the older version of you being what you want to be proud of most. I send a lot of energy back to my younger self, for when I'm having these really great accomplishments and, I'm pushing forward in my career path. And I would tell her or whoever this person is that you are more than capable. You can do whatever you set your mind to. Big dreams can definitely come true. You just have to speak up, ask for what you want, and then step in. Literally, just dive in for it. You can do it.
You could do it. Um, Anything you want to leave the people with?
I would leave the people with keep your eyes out for Captive. 2026 just started. We'll see where we are by the end of it.
Yep. That's all I have. Again, I hope you all enjoyed this. As you see, I work with some very talented individuals and people that really have a lot of passion for what they do. It's a privilege for myself. And really, I want to just keep showcasing the environment and the culture that I get to show up to every day. Um,
Oh, you're fantastic too.
I know. Uh,